to visit my friend Marilyn. Marilyn Marshall, actually. We heard about her earlier today. I visited her last week at Virginia Mason Medical Center. Now, Marilyn, unfortunately, is in the hospital for more than a few days. When I walked into her hospital room, I was taken aback by a melee of notes all over one wall. Those notes to Marilyn were wishing her well, wishing her a speedy recovery, telling her jokes, and every sender of these notes said that they were keeping Marilyn in their thoughts. That display of notes reminded me, supported me in my firm belief in the power of the handwritten note. When I was a kid, way back in the olden days, on Christmas morning, my siblings and I were not allowed to touch those presents unwrapped, beautiful under the tree, until we finished our thank you notes. Amazingly enough, Santa Claus always included a packet of stationery in our Christmas stockings. You know, right on top of the orange and the toe and the funny looking socks and the handful of candy under the safe. It was a good thing he did because thank you notes in my family were required. So now as an adult, when I send a gift to one of my nieces or nephews, I wait for the thank you note. Because I have confidence. I know my siblings are going to pass down and require of their kids the same thing Mom required of us, and that is the consideration and the respect of a thank you note. I save them. This one is from my 15-year-old nephew for his birthday gift I gave him this summer. And you can tell it's a 15-year-old boy because he has really lousy handwriting. However, he wrote the note. Nobody sends letters anymore. We do emails. Nobody sends copies of a photograph of their kids or of their fabulous vacation in Italy. They post it on Facebook. And nobody except a bride sends a hard copy invitation anymore. We use Evite. So Evite, Facebook, email, 3 very good reasons why when you get a handwritten note, it's extra special. That note tells the recipient that somebody cared enough to find a card and a pen and do a manual spell check. And then find a stamp, and then have to find a mailbox. It's just exhausting. No, really, it's not. Here's a thought. Think of the last time you were at a dinner party. You know, where a host invites other people to share a meal and conversation without any electronic devices. I love dinner parties. They're a bit of work though, and so think of how lovely it is for a host who throws a dinner party to get a handwritten thank you card sent the next day after the event. A card doesn't have to be a thank you card. It could be following up on a conversation with somebody you met at a party. It could be remembering someone so they don't think they're forgotten, like my 83-year-old Aunt Diane in Chicago. It could be sending something to someone you think they might be interested in, like a brochure you picked up, or maybe a program for a show that you went to. Or it could be a gift. I did my obligatory internet research, and I typed into Google handwritten note, and I came across an article in the Harvard Business Review that had the comment, in a world where so much communication is merely utilitarian, these simple acts of investment, remembrance, gratitude, and appreciation can show the people who matter to your life and your business that they are important to you. Now, bringing that to a very personal level, my mother passed away 7 years ago. I couldn't read any of the cards that people sent. They were sent to me by my friends, by my extended family, but also my colleagues and some Toastmasters. I couldn't read the cards because I was too grief-stricken. I took the cards and I set them aside. And then a few months later, I brought them back out. And reading those cards it's hard to even to talk about it now. It overwhelmed me with emotion and how kind and generous of the people who wrote those cards to me. So let's go back to Marilyn in Virginia Mason and that melee of cards on the wall. That meant so much to her. She was so touched that all of those people felt kindness towards her to share their thoughts in those cards. So the next time somebody in your life does something you think is worthy of a thank you, or maybe somebody has a birthday, or maybe someone could just use a little cheering up. Instead of zooming off an email, send a note, a handwritten note, on a card. Put it in an envelope, find a stamp, find a mailbox, and let the post office do what the post office does best, which is deliver not just bills and junk mail, but deliver a smile to someone you care about. Madam Postmaster.